So this is the steering wheel I've chosen to use. It's actually a Toyota Corolla steering wheel from a ZRE182 model, which is I think a 2013 model Corolla. So I chose this one because it's relatively small, but it's also leather wrapped and it's got some buttons on it. Now that I won't obviously be able to immediately just plug them in and use them. I'm going to have to do some electronics wizardry there. It may not even be particularly practical, but it's a project I thought I'd try. I think it's quite a nice looking steering wheel. So this is what the old one looks like. It's got a typical aftermarket arrangement where there's 6 bolts holding it onto an aftermarket, what they call boss kit, which is bolted to the steering shaft that comes out of the steering column from factory. So the first thing we're going to do before we attempt to take this off is disconnect the horn, because the horn is obviously actuated by this button, and we don't want to accidentally set that off. We're going to do that first, and then we can take out the bolts. So to disconnect the horn, it's just a matter of taking out the fuse. That's it there. So use your little removal tool if you've got one. Pull that out. Now we can't beep the horn. Success. This Allen key is the one that actually came with either the steering wheel or the boss kit. I'm not sure which, but whichever one had the bolts supplied. So we're going to use that. I think it's probably about a 5mm or 4mm. And undo all 6 of these. Now we've got the horn. In this case it's just pretty much just fallen out. We are going to need to disconnect those terminals, and that's the horn button free. Now the wheel can come off. What we've got here now is the boss kit, and you can see the nut that's securing the boss kit to the steering column. So we're going to need to remove that nut. So I have here my 19mm socket, because that's the size that the nut is for the MR2, and my long breaker bar of power. Let's see if we can get this undone. Hey, that wasn't too hard. There's a gap between the back of the nut and the front face of the mounting point of the steering wheel boss kit there. So what we can do now is we can bolt the steering wheel back on, and then we can use the steering wheel itself to thump it loose, hopefully. Trying to bang the steering wheel off didn't work, so what we've had to do instead is buy a steering wheel puller kit, which is this Stanley one I got from Super Cheap Auto, and it comes with a long bolt and a bar. I've had to upgrade this by using M5 bolts plus nuts and a whole stack of washers so that I can get a good grip on this bar. And then what happens is you turn this middle bolt, it will pull the boss kit off with its grip on these washers which are screwed into the boss kit, and then it's actually now able to slide freely on the spline. That's a tapered spline. That's the reason why they get really tight. When you do that nut up quite tightly, it'll push down onto the taper and it will lock in there really tightly. So now that that's done, I can remove all this, and we can actually take the boss kit off. You can see it's wiggling around now. So we'll take these out. All that gone. Now we'll take the nut off completely. And there we go, it's our boss kit removed. So what I understand is all steering wheels that Toyota has made for quite a while, with the exception of one in the 8.6 because that was made by Subaru, share the same type of spline. So this should fit. We'll find out whether it works mechanically, and then we'll worry about all the connections and horn controls and indicator cancelling and so on. Oh, that feels good. I think we're on the spline now. Yeah, there you go. This is the new steering wheel. You can see here it's just the boss, if you like, with the spline inside that protrudes at the back, and there's some little lugs to lock into a mechanism that I don't have. And we've got some wires and plugs inside for the electrical connections. with this one, this is an original 90 MR2 steering wheel. You can see there's a slip ring on there, which is copper contact, will rub along as it turns, so it provides an electrical connection for the horn. It's got some little holes around this ring here, which I think are the ones that interface with the indicator cancelling mechanism, and it's just generally sort of a very different setup there. So what I really need is I need this to function similarly to that, and then I can get those things to work. We can see here the little nubs that go into those little holes that I showed you on the other wheel, and they're what will perform the indicator cancelling function. You have to turn it that way, there we go, that cancels it. So that's how that works, and there's the little contact for the horn that will rub on the copper slip ring to provide that electrical connection. So that's the challenge there. I need to get all that stuff to work somehow, so we may have to make an adapter in order to do it, but we'll see what we can come up with and see if we can make this project work or not. So in order to make the adapter, I sat down with my trusty CAD program here and a pair of calipers and did some measurements, drew some circles, did some fancy CAD voodoo, and produced this part, which I can now send off to my trusty 3D printer, print that out in plastic, and then we've got an adapter we can try. So let's see how that goes. So I'm just going to use my cutters here to move a bit of the plastic out of the way of the top of the mounting tab here, and now I should be able to pry it up, and without too much difficulty I should be able to pull it out of the tabs on the other side without removing any plastic from that. So we'll see how that goes. There we go, and pull the horn wire out, and that is our slip ring contact. So now we can try it on the new adapter and see how well it fits on there. We've screwed the slip ring onto the adapter, which is nice and sturdy. It fits nicely on the sort of aluminium boss there. 3 screws in place, horn wire goes down through the notch there, and that will turn with the steering wheel and lock into place with it nicely, so we can use it for the horn and for the indicator cancelling with the bigger holes there. So let's get this on there now. Right. There we are. Goes nicely on the display. See there, it's almost all the way through. The nut will pull it on a little bit further, and that there is the wire for the connection to the horn pad. Alright, so that's the nut on and tightened up, and we can see now as well that we can have our self-cancelling function from the indicators. I'll just turn that. Right, so indicating right, and turn right, there's that click, come back, cancels. So the only thing left to do now is to put the horn pad on. So that's the horn pad installed. It just snaps into place. And now we can check whether the horn's working or not. Just go reconnect the circuit. Third one down on this left row. Back in place. Success. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you install a Corolla ZRE182 steering wheel, leather wrapped with the function buttons. It'll get to work at some point. Functioning horn, functioning indicator cancelling, and everything bolted up nicely into a 1990 Toyota MR2. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.